Hi, this is Tim Federle, author and narrator of the audiobook Better Nate Than Ever. Better Nate Than Ever is an audiobook that follows the adventures of a 13-year-old theater dork named Nate Foster. And Nate runs away from home one weekend and he crashes an audition for E.T. the Broadway musical in New York City. I got inspired to write Better Nate Than Ever while I was on the artistic staff of Billy Elliot on Broadway. I moved to New York City myself as a teenager in order to sort of chase my own show business dreams. And after 10 years of dancing in various shows, I found myself training all of the little kids who were appearing in the Broadway show Billy Elliot. And so the inspiration came out of seeing these very young children facing huge fears, huge audiences, thousands of people night after night. And I realized if they could face a judgmental crowd, that I could hopefully face the blank page and write a novel that I had always wanted to write. I do read my work aloud because my background is as an actor, and so I sort of like to wrap my mouth around the dialogue to sort of feel and hear what it would sound like if it were actually spoken. Though the fun thing about recording an audiobook is you're able to catch, you go, oh my gosh, I can't believe I used that word 3 times in a row on one page. So don't tell anyone, but along the way, as the author of the audiobook, I've been cutting a few extra words. So the listeners of the audiobook get a very special version of Better Nate Than Ever, the director's cut. I decided to narrate the audiobook myself, in part because Nate's story is a lot like mine. I was this bullied, picked-on kid who was obsessed with show tunes, and, I'm in my 30s now, but I'm sort of forever a teenage boy, though I think every man is actually a teenage boy in better shoes. And then the recording process has been super fun. I'm working with these super pros, and as a kid, I did a lot of voiceovers. I remember I did this really silly commercial. Hello, toy shoppers. This is Jason on WKRP Kid Radio, except my voice was higher. And so I've sort of been in the booth before, but I've never sat and just read all day. It presents its own kind of charms and challenges. I think writing and narrating an audiobook in relation to sort of some of my past lives as a Broadway dancer and occasional choreographer and director, it all relates in the sense that it's all just sort of a different form of expression. The whole reason I wanted to write this audiobook to begin with was because as a performer, when a show is done, the night that you do a musical, it's done. It'll never be the same way again, which is so exciting about live performing. But it can also be very sad when a show closes. It's reduced to, a bunch of playbills and photos. So it compares in the sense that it's a way of expressing yourself and it's telling a story in a really innovative way. But I think the cool thing about audiobooks is the legacy that they kind of leave, and hopefully it outlives you and is the type of performing that your grandchildren and great-grandchildren might listen to someday, but who knows what types of devices they'll be listening on. I think my favorite scene in the audiobook is after Nate gets to New York and finally gets an audition for E.T. the musical. He's given a packet of pages from the script of E.T., and he needs to read the role of Elliot. But Nate doesn't know enough about show business to know he's only supposed to read the role of Elliot. So in the audiobook and in my performance, I get to play all of these different characters in one scene as Nate open-heartedly but totally foolishly throws himself into reading every single role on the page. I hope that listeners of the Better Nate Than Ever audiobook take away some laughs, and I hope they are interested and maybe fascinated by some of the behind-the-scenes stuff that happens at a Broadway show. But I also hope it inspires people, no matter how old they are, to follow some of their own dreams, whether they are a kid or that kid's grown-up parent or teacher or educator. I hope people can see a little of themselves in Nate Foster and get on the metaphorical or literal bus to the New York City of their own dreams.